Oh, wow, that looks a whole lot better. Wow, check that out. All right, I'm here with student
Jared Finch.
Jared. All right, Jared has promised that he's not going to charge royalties for this video, so that's why we're doing it, because he's not charging royalties. That's a good student. Now, you're talking about connectivity, right?
Right.
Connectivity, and remember, we're doing several videos related to the iPad, Apple's iPad, which just was released over the weekend. We're going to post several videos, and this is one of the first ones talking about connectivity. All right, give us a sample of some of the stuff that you all found on the campus.
While doing some research, we found out that the iPad does not rejoin, or doesn't automatically rejoin the Wi-Fi once it wakes up or is reset.
Even you can. Do you know whether or not you can tell it to rejoin and it just won't do it? Is this a glitch or something?
I'm not sure if it's something that is how it's set up when you first get it, or something that you can fix.
Okay, all right.
You have to ensure that your Wi-Fi is up to date and ready to be synced. It doesn't like automatically just say it doesn't try to find the Wi-Fi, or it doesn't update it.
Okay, all right.
Other thing that we found out is that if you buy a certain car, like the Hyundai, the iPad is available to be connected to it.
So what you're saying is that will they give you an iPad if you buy a Hyundai? All right, we need to verify that. Somebody verify that when you make your comments on that one.
I'm pretty sure that if you buy one, instead of getting the manual, you get the iPad.
Wow. Do they have a Hyundai iPad application, like an app or something? Do you know?
I'm not sure if they have an app, but it says that they have you can set up an appointment to get your car serviced, to get your car, like your oil change or things of that nature. Like
through the iPad?
Through the iPad.
Wow, that's interesting.
Right. Other thing that we found out, it doesn't connect with older computers. So like if you have a computer made before a certain date, it doesn't have the power. The iPad doesn't have the power to connect to it. So you have to buy a computer that's somewhat up to date. Another thing we found out, the Mobile Me, which a lot of people already know about, it syncs to your computer and your iPad and your iPod Touch, so you can get like all your things, like your schedules and your iTunes and all that stuff. You can sync through it. It's a service that costs money, but it keeps everything all together.
All right, so far as connectivity, here's another thing, and we're going to be talking with another student here in just a few seconds, and she's going to talk about some of the ports and whatnot that do and or don't exist as far as connectivity. But as far as wireless and whatnot, it sounds like there's some glitches and some challenges that they need to overcome in the next revision of the iPad in terms of, syncing up to Wi-Fi's and all that kind of good stuff. Right. But let me say something that most people, I know you all didn't catch. You got to use it. I've used it over the past couple of days. Let me say something real quick. The iPad, and some students are out with it right now, so I don't have it, but the iPad, when it gets close to another, like a MacBook Pro or something, does something really weird. And I don't know if anybody else has noticed this, but when I had my iPad close to my MacBook Pro, all of a sudden my MacBook Pro did not operate the way it should. Meaning that when I would scroll over with the mouse to click something and it wouldn't click. And I had to literally restart the machine twice in order to get my MacBook Pro to work. And I have not heard anybody talk about this, all right? But when my iPad was close to my MacBook Pro stopped working, stopped functioning properly. I'm gonna throw that one out free. And I don't know if it was trying to talk to it or what, and they just didn't like each other.
But that shouldn't happen.
That shouldn't happen. All right, next, let's bring her in. We're at 3 minutes and 38 seconds. I'm gonna try to get out of here in five minutes. Okay.
Alrighty.
All right, let everybody know which Ball State student this is.
This is Katie Jacoby.
All right, what you got?
What he was also talking about with the Wi-Fi, one of the articles that we found, this lady was saying that the Wi-Fi signal was very weak. She was even standing in front of the router with
the router. She was standing in front of the router with the iPad.
And it still had a very low signal.
Wow.
And then another thing.
If anybody's experienced that, let us know.
And another thing with that is opinion blog. They're complaining about the stuff that the iPad doesn't have, and they were talking about they can't like listen to Pandora or something like that while they're checking their email.
Well, let me say something about that. As far as multitasking and the whole Pandora thing, well, you can't do that on the iPhone either, so we're used to that. But one thing you can do is you can listen to a iTunes library and do something at the same time. So that kind of blows it out the water.
And it doesn't have that many ports and stuff like that.
Ports. It only has one. Let's just be real. It has one port, and that is to charge it. Okay. So in terms of a USB, a SD card input, anything like that, That means I can't hook up a microphone to it to record my, to do speech to text or anything like that. So yeah, that's a flaw. That's a major issue.
And then two big things that I noticed. The iPad does not support Flash, which is bad, even though they're...
That's a deal breaker for some people.
Yeah, it's a deal
Flash,
breaker
yeah.
for... And one thing that Apple did answer, they're coming out with a camera cord in the next couple of weeks. It starts shipping late this month.
Okay.
So,
right.
and it'll connect through the charging pad. It'll
All right,
be-
slide back down. I think that's something else. The Flash thing is a deal breaker for a lot of people. Even, people like me went into it understanding that it didn't do Flash, but at the same time, it does get a tad bit annoying not to be able to gain access to some content, videos and whatnot. It is kind of a deal breaker, again, that Flash piece. I think that's it. I think we're about running out. We're over time. So that's report number 1. We're going to publish this puppy, and we're going to come back with report number 2 in just a little bit. Thank you.
You're welcome.